Hello everyone and welcome back to World of Warcraft Dragonflight. Turns out I found at least one more thing to show you guys. It's interesting. I discussed this with someone else. The thing about Blizzard storytelling is that while the main stories and main quests at times are just not all that great or a little subpar, sometimes their real strength in their storytelling is in the extra stuff, the side stuff. Like, when you look at Dragonflight alone, just as an example, the main story stuff has its issues, but where it really shines is in the side stories. Like, do you guys remember the dwarf that we met at the Ruby Life Pools? You know the one who was just sitting there, and we sat down with him, and we just talked with him, and he just talked and shared stories and memories. You remember that, right? The thing is, that wasn't the only encounter we had with him. His story continued, and it had very similar powerful and emotional moments in that story. Or how about the orc that we met from the Dragon Maw clan? Stuff like that is where it really shines in their storytelling by Blizzard. And it's funny. It's like they may not have it up to par when it comes to their main stories, but the really good stuff is there for those who want it, for those who look for it and try to find it. Because the thing is, this questline we're about to do here is not part of the main story. It's extra. It's on the side, and it's not advertised for you to go do, like the Harbinger questline that we did by Khadgar, where he's like, "Come to Dalaran." No. In order to actually find this one, I had to figure out where Malfurion was. In order to do that, I had to go into the adventure guide. And I was going through here, and I saw this. Sins of the Sister. A night elf seeks permission to bury her family at Amirdrasil, but her sister's traitorous past causes a dilemma. Speak to Malfurion in Belemeth to learn more. So I had to come here to Belemeth and find their south of Belemeth over here. In this little area here. This is where they are. Hi, Malfurion.
How may I aid you?
Ah, Drednix, welcome to Belemeth. I wonder, do you have time for a small favor? Wait, hold on. Malfurion. You, of all people, are asking me, a demon hunter, to do you a favor. Who are you and what have you done with Malfurion? I joke, but this is Malfurion we're talking about. We've known Malfurion since Warcraft 3, and we have seen how he treats and feels about the demon hunters and, of course, Illidan. So for him to reach out to us and be like, could you do me a favor? That's kind of a big gesture on his part, considering how long and far back we remember him and what he's been like. And I guess it just goes to show the apparent continuing growth that they're actually giving to these characters. I'm not just talking about Malfurion here, but Tyrande as well. These two characters didn't really grow as characters for a long time. And yet it feels like in Dragonflight they actually tried to see if they could give these characters some growth. Some development. To which I say it's about freaking time. Earlier today, a young Kaldurai named Kalestra came to see me. She sought permission to bury her family in a barrow den. An uncommon request, but I gave her my blessing and directed her to the Barrows of Reverie. She looked melancholy. After she left, it struck me that she might be the last of her family still alive. If you have the time, could you check on her?
May the winds be at your back.
Thank you, PapaNeeks. No one should be left alone during times of grief. I mean, that's true, though, you know. A lot of people grieve in their own ways, and sometimes they either want or need to be left alone, if that's how they want to grieve. But if you just want me to check on her to see that she's okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. Again, I just happen to be a demon hunter for this, but the thing is, this is not exclusive to anyone or anything. You can do this as any class, any race, or even any faction. This is not, obviously I'm a blood elf, so part of the Horde, but it's not like this is an alliance-only quest.
Hello.
Kalestra is so preoccupied with her own thoughts, it takes her a few moments to even notice you. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Do you have a moment?
May the stars guide you.
I've carried this weight long enough. It has finally come time to put my family to rest, even if I never found my sister. She wipes away tears and takes a deep breath. I must gather barrow stones to place at their final resting place, but I simply cannot carry that many stones. Maybe I asked too much of a stranger, but would you assist me? I know having someone beside me will make this more endurable.
Farewell.
I've never been inside a barrow den before. My sister told me that druids do not just sleep and congregate in dens. They may also be laid to rest here. This honor is also extended to the druid's immediate family. My sister loved the idea. I hope I can give her and my family the rest that they deserve. I'm ready when you are. If my memory recalls, Kalestra was one of the druids of the flame that we encountered when we went through Amirdrasil, right? She was the one who basically turned on Tyrande and became loyal to the druids of the flame. And I think that's part of the dilemma here. We're helping the sister of someone who betrayed the Night Elves and became a druid of the flame. So the dilemma is whether or not this is something that we should do for Kalestra. Or not Kalestra, Kalestra's sister. I'm getting the name mixed up right. I'm seeing the name Kalestra and I'm thinking about that, but I know who, at least I think I know who she's talking about.
Asha Fela.
My family had gathered that day to celebrate my elder sister. She had just completed her training as a druid of the Talon. We lived in the village of Dolinar, high in the branches of Teldrassil. We had heard war might be coming, but we never thought... Notices a druid of the Claw following us. Like, I'm watching you. We were told that we had to evacuate, but there was so much chaos, so much fire. Even now, what I remember most was the smell. The path to Darnassus was cut off by the blaze. My sister instead led us east to the edge of the crown of Teldrassil. She had a plan. She wanted us to jump from the tree. She would use her powers over wind to keep us aloft and glide down to the shore below. But something went wrong. As we drifted along, she was struck by a burning branch. It ignited her clothing and engulfed her in flames. She lost control of her magic. We all plummeted into the sea below. I was badly hurt in the fall, but I managed to survive. But the rest of my family was not so lucky. Over time, I eventually recovered the remains of my parents and brother. But I never found my sister. Her grave is likely at the bottom of the Veiled Sea. Yeah, considering that this questline is called Sins of the Sister, I have a feeling that's not the case. Like I said, I think we're about to find out that her sister became a Druid of the Flame. Remember, her clothing everything engulfed in fire is what she said. But sometimes I wonder if my sister might have survived the jump off Teldrassil. If anyone could survive that fall, it would be Coraleth. Coraleth was your sister? She was a primalist and a traitor. She deserved her fate. That can't be true. If you don't believe me, go speak with the other primalist traitors at the Twilight Watchtower. They'll tell you the truth. So it was Coraleth. I would have to rewatch the clip, but to see whether or not that's true or not. Is what he said true? Do you know anything about Coraleth? So I could either say that she was a primalist, that she was a primalist and fell in battle, that she was a primalist and I killed her in battle, or that I don't know anything.
Be careful.
Then not only was she a traitor, but she can never redeem herself.
What brings you here?
Coraleth, what have you done? Why? I must find out why.
Good luck, friend.
I must speak with the Primalist. I don't understand why she would turn her back on us. Coraleth saved my life at Teldrassil. I owe it to her to find out the truth. Dreadnix, I realize that this might be awkward, but will you help me? I can no longer bear this alone.
Farewell.
That druid said the other Primalists are at the Twilight Watchtower. I'll meet you there. It's going to be on the complete opposite side here. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, I actually waited until the reset because, well, this past week when the new patch came out, let's just say things were rough. You could tell that it was buggy and needed some maintenance and fixing because just weird technical things were happening, like whether or not someone came online or not, it was appearing right in front of in the middle of my screen. Like there was just a number of weird things going on with the game itself. So it's reset day that I'm making this, a week after this questline came out. Heck, my Demon Hunter has not even gone to the vault. I literally logged her out right there in front of Malfurion. And when you guys saw me start the video is when I first logged into this character. So all my other characters, my alts, have opened their vaults, except my main here, my Demon Hunter. So we haven't even seen the vault yet. Very well. You have my permission to speak with them. I've been charged with watching over these former Primalists as they repent for their crimes. What's become of the Primalists after the war? The Primalists suffered heavy losses during Razagath's initial campaign and even more casualties during Farak's assault on Mirdrassil. Virnoth's defection was another major blow to their numbers, causing many Primalists to switch sides. Those who remained were either captured as prisoners of war or scattered to the winds after Farak's defeat. The Primalists are defeated but not destroyed. They will go into hiding once again and bide their time until called upon. And do not forget, there is still one Carnate out there to call upon them. Yep. If he calls on them, they'll answer. That's for sure.
Elune Adore.
Thank you for coming, Dreadnix.
Asha Fela.
Warden Malathra has granted us permission to speak with the Primalists. They might have switched sides, but the Wardens are keeping a close eye on them. I'm going to talk to the Warden more. Could you handle the Primalists? All this about Coraleth is just happening so suddenly. I feel that we should gather as much information as we can.
Be careful.
The Primus can be found scattered about tending to the flora with their storm powers. Like this one over here. How can I help you? Tell me what you know about Corlith. Corlith was one of the most powerful storm shaman amongst the Primalists. She leveraged her training as a druid of the Talon to master the elements more quickly and more fully than others. It was also why she was chosen to lead the initial assault on the Emerald Dream. As a former druid, she knew more about the dream and its weaknesses than anyone else. Yes, Blood Elf, what is it? What do you know about Corlith? Corlith was terrifying. The burning of Teldrassil scarred her face and scorched her hair off. I heard she lost her entire family there. She was singularly consumed with anything that would bring an end to the Horde. She let nothing get in her way. I'm just trying to repair the damage that my actions have caused. What do you want? What do you know about Corlith? I don't know much about her. I steered clear of Corlith as much as possible. She hated the Horde and was exceptionally hard on any Horde races within the Primalist ranks. I heard she joined the Primalists after the Alliance signed the Armistice. She had sworn vengeance on the Horde for Teldrassil. And if the Alliance would not destroy the Horde, then she would find someone else who would, no matter the cost. Yeah, she probably would have tried to kill me on sight. If I had only known early what Farak was planning. I don't think he was rather shy or quiet about his intentions. What do you know about Corlith? I switched sides after I learned our true target in the dream was a new world tree. I don't know for sure if Corlith knew the truth, but I believe it was kept from her. I can't imagine that she would willingly be part of an assault on a Mirdrassil. If she had survived, she might even be standing with us here today. What's this over here? A dagger. Oh. Is it right here? Oh, oh. No, it's not there. Oh, right there. Ooh. I'll send that to my rogue.
Ishnu Dal Dieb.
What were you able to find out? I tell her. I can understand why my sister would want nothing more than the Horde destroyed. I and many others felt the same way for a time. No offense. She looks at me, realizing I'm a blood elf part of the Horde. Like, oh, no offense. And Corlith always had a single-minded focus in getting what she wanted. But I also believe that she had known about Teldrassil, about a Mirdrassil. That had she known about a Mirdrassil, she would have defected immediately.
May the stars guide
After
you.
speaking with the Warden, I learned the Battle of the Barrier where my sister Fell took place east of here, on the shores of the Onaran Plains. I understand that her body was washed out to sea and never recovered. It's possible the tide brought her remains back to shore at some point. Will you help me look for her? Each member of my family has a necklace with this distinct design. It would identify Corlith's body. I'd like to lay her to rest with the family she loved.
Good luck, friend.
We can cover more ground if we split up. If you find her, signal me. They've been bleached by the sun for some time. Nope, they belong to a troll, not a night elf. Oh, hello! Yeah, I'm not concerned. In case you were wondering, yes, I'm... Yeah. So I'm actually 5'09", though. If I wanted to, I could be 5'10", but let's just say I'm, sometimes you put, the more effective piece of gear on instead of whatever the higher item level is, you know? That... I doubt that would be her. The skeleton's too small. Much shorter. Yeah, that's probably a Volpera, a Goblin, or a Gnome. Hello, Revenant. Goodbye, Revenant. It's her. The necklace half buried in the sand. It's the same markings. All right, let's signal her. Did you find her?
I am listening. Farewell.
Oh, Corleth.
Asha-Fela.
All that's left to do is just gather my sister's remains and bring them to the Barrow Den. Please meet me there. I could use a friend.
May the stars guide you.
Sister, you'll be reunited with our family soon. Yeah, I have a feeling that's not going to go as smooth as you might think. These are the Night Elves we're talking about. They have a tendency to be rather stubborn when it comes to their customs. After all, it took them how long before they were willing to allow Night Elf mages to be a thing again? Because they believed that magic was the root of all evil? You will not desecrate this den with that traitor's filth! Let's keep calm now. Yeah, I had a feeling that this guy was not going to allow that.
How might nature serve?
This is a difficult situation. I did not realize that Calestra's sister was Corleth, a known primaless and a traitor. Corleth was an enemy, and yet there is evidence to suggest that she might have switched sides later in the war, as many others did. But does that possibility exonerate her sins?
May nature guide your path.
Corleth was a primaless and a traitor. To bury her here at Amirdasil would spit in the face of all those who lost their lives defending against her madness. We all felt the pain of Teldrassil and still bear the scars today in our hearts. That does not excuse her actions or her betrayal. She made her choices, and she must accept the consequences.
Farewell.
Ishnu Allah.
She's on the verge of tears. They refuse to let me in. After all we've done, they deny my sister peace.
Be careful.
This druid is trying to convince Malfurion not to let me bury my sister here with the rest of my family. He won't even let me get a word in. I know I've asked a lot of you, but could you please talk to them? Perhaps they might listen to you. Oh. Interesting.
Good luck, friend.
I am honored. Greetings, friend.
So now we get a choice here. I can either try to persuade Malfurion that Corleth should be allowed to rest within the Barrow Den. I could try to persuade him that Corleth was a traitor and does not deserve it. Or I could just simply not try to persuade him at all. Either way. And just let him make his own decision. So I'll be honest with you guys. I'm conflicted here. Because this is Malfurion. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we've known Malfurion since Warcraft 3. We have seen how Malfurion thinks, and how stubborn he tends to be when it comes to his view on certain things. This was the same guy who, when Illidan was willing to sacrifice his own soul to save the land of Kalimdor and its forests, that he was banished for, that he banished Illidan for it. Illidan was willing to sacrifice a lot of himself to help save everyone. Yes, I will acknowledge he said the power should be mine, but in his mind, he believed the power in his own hands was better off than the hands of the Legion. That he could use that power to help. Because that was Illidan's constant way of thinking. It's like, I'm going to use this means, even though it's considered a horrible means, to do something good. You know? That was a lot of the motivation behind his actions. They went into detail on this in both the games and in the book, Illidan. But Malfurion never saw it that way. He always saw them as horrible things that he did, and that was it for him. Like, he didn't understand why Illidan would do the things he did. He just saw what he did and thought, oh, you are horrible. You are terrible. So Malfurion had a very one-track way of thinking. And he's had that line of thinking for a very long time. Because the Night Elves, like I said, they tend to be rather stubborn when it comes to their customs and beliefs. For a long time, they believed that arcane magic was the root of all evil because they saw magic and what it did to the Highborn and Ajara, which led to, of course, the Well of Eternity. And because Illidan brought it back to eventually try and help use it against the Burning Legion, they thought it was simply like, how dare you bring that back? You are the betrayer! And that's why he got his 10,000-year imprisonment. And, remember, for a long time, you could not play a Night Elf mage because Night Elves considered magic and arcane magic horrible and evil. The idea of a Night Elf mage was like heresy and just the most vile and horrible, disgusting thing to them. The idea, when they added Night Elf mages back into the game, really, if you want to really immerse yourself in a role-playing idea, the idea that if you made a Night Elf mage, that as you're going through, say, Darnassus, every Night Elf should look at you and just, like, have this look of just, like, ugh, just, like violent disgust and even spit on you as you walk by them because they consider Night Elf mages to be just a horrible, disgusting thing. But obviously, times have changed. So if this was, say, the Malfurion from back in Warcraft 3, I would be like, yo, dude, just let her this, So my thinking is this. I am someone who does not believe in the sins of the father mentality and way of thinking. I'm someone who says just because somebody did something doesn't mean that their loved ones should have to pay the price for it when they did not do that. Now, this is not the same kind of situation. I'm not saying that's what this is. We are deciding and trying to figure out whether or not Corleth's actions as a primalist should condemn her for the rest of her existence, including her afterlife after she's died. And whether or not the idea that the reason and why she did what she did was because of... And this is one of those quests that it's another reminder of just... when we were talking to those primalists, my thought was, damn you, Sylvanas. That was my thought, because once again, Sylvanas' decision to burn that tree just continues to haunt the Horde just continuously, like, including those who were not in favor of it, who did not support that, who didn't want that to happen. I'll never forget doing that BFA pre-patch, that the burning of Teldrassil event before BFA came out, as a Horde player, and just standing there feeling like I could do nothing to stop it and just watch it happen, even though I didn't want it to happen. Just... And then we had the cinematic with Varrock, where he opposed Sylvanas and told her that there's no honor in this. They're going to come for all of us now. All of them will come for us. But just continuing to feel those repercussions of her actions. And yeah, some were totally behind her and willing to do that. but plenty were not, but they are still, all of them, having to feel the consequences for that. And this is part of it. What was part of her motivation for joining the Primalists? The burning of Teldrassil. And like others, she wanted to hate the Horde rather than just Sylvanas. Because really who she should be mad at is Sylvanas. But like others on the Alliance, they direct their hatred towards the Horde instead of Sylvanas. Like Jaina directed her hatred towards the entirety of the Horde rather than just Garrosh. It's the, I want to blame and go after this person responsible, but I can't. But this one is within reach. I can blame this one because they were somehow involved, and I can go after them because I need to go after something. I need to let out my anger and frustration about this on something, on someone. I can't after the actual person who's involved because they're out of my reach, but this one is, so I can direct it at them. They can't direct their hatred towards Sylvanas because she's not within their reach anymore. But they can towards the rest of the Horde because they're right here. It's more accessible, more convenient to help them feel better about how hurt they are and how full of hatred and anger and pain and suffering and sadness that they are going through. They have to let it out. Direct it at something. Vent. And so Corleth used that towards the Horde, how she felt about that towards them, to motivate her to commit these things. But as the other Night Elf told us, if she had known that what they were attacking was another world tree, would she, someone who loved Teldrassil, who loved her people, a Night Elf, would she have willingly gone after a world tree like a Mirdrassil? I have a feeling she wouldn't have. So the idea is like, well, she could have turned and joined us had she lived. So then that really becomes the dilemma here. So normally I would try to persuade Malfurion because, honestly, my thinking is, yeah, if someone like us had actually gotten the opportunity to talk to her and tell her about what was really going on and about the World Tree, I think she would have changed her stance and would have actually joined us. I don't think she would have continued to do what she was doing. But then that brings up the question, does that still excuse or wipe clean or excuse her actions, what she had done? And should she be punished posthumously for it? At some point, we have to be willing to forgive. And in this situation, Corleth has essentially already paid because she's already dead. And the one who's having to deal with this now is not Corleth, but her sister. And Calestra only has recollections about the good times that she had with her sister and the rest of her family. And as we found out, she went through a horrible situation when they left Teldrassil. She survived, but she lost her family in the process. Her entire family. And Calestra shouldn't have to pay for what happened with her sister. So I would normally try to persuade Malfurion to just let Calestra have this moment with her family. But I'm going to go out on a limb here. No pun intended. I'm going to do something as in return for what Malfurion did for me at the beginning of this questline. What was something I brought up? Malfurion asking us to do him a favor. Yes, we just coincidentally happen to be a blood elf demon hunter, which just makes this situation very more interesting from the standpoint that this is Malfurion we're dealing with. Because in the past, Malfurion would never have even considered asking a demon hunter, especially one on the Horde, a blood elf demon hunter, to do him a favor for this situation. He would never have done that. But he did. And so, returning that favor now, I am now going to put some trust and faith in Malfurion to figure out what to do here and see whether or not he can decide whether or not to do what he thinks is the right thing. So I like that when you make a choice here, it lets you know this is going to determine Corleth's remains are laid to rest. Are you sure you want to select this option?
Nature stands with you.
Calestra, your sister Corleth fought for the Primalist, and her actions caused pain and sorrow for us and our allies. However, she did not escape the consequences of those actions. She paid for them with her life. Corleth could not find peace in life, but perhaps under the boughs of a new world tree, she may find some in eternal rest. Calestra, you may bury your sister with the rest of your family. Thank you, both of you. You've given me the peace that I thought would never come. My brother died fighting Corleth. Where is his peace? Where is his justice? Dreadneeks, when you have a moment, please come see me at my family's resting place. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was Calestra who said that. See me at my family's resting place.
I must protect the wild.
That was no easy decision to make, but I believe it was the correct one. Thank you for assisting Calestra in this matter. Despite the circumstances, let us hope that finding her sister may give her some measure of closure. Thank you,
May the winds
Malfurion.
be at your back.
I think you did the right thing. Hey, Calestra.
I am listening.
Thank you for all that you have done for me. I don't dispute what Corleth did or the harm that she caused. But I never knew Corleth the Primalist. I only knew Corleth the Druid, who dedicated her life to the balance and harmony of nature. I knew Corleth the Calderai, who would have given her life to protect Teldrassil and its people. I knew Corleth, my sister, who would take me to the docks of Rutheron village as a child to watch the ships sail by, and on the way home, buy a basket of tundra berries for me to munch on. That is the Corleth that I will remember.
May the stars guide you.
I'm sorry for your loss, Calestra. May your family rest in peace. And it's on a minute cooldown. And it's got its own storm cloud to water it. Wow. What did I say about how some of the best storytelling that Blizzard does is in their side stories? Stuff that is not part of the main story, but is in the extra stuff that players who want to find it will look for it and discover it. Yeah. In my opinion, that was some good stuff right there. Okay. So, I don't know if there's going to be anything actually more for this entire...
to explore?
I forgot to do a key last week. But then again, I'm not exactly too fond of this season's dungeon pool, so... Anyways, I don't know if there's going to be any more story content to show you guys in Dragonflight. This could be it until the War Within pre-patch, which will be the beginning of a separate playlist. Oh wait, no, I actually did do... Or did I not grab these before? Oh, wait a minute. That's right, because I did the weekly of do zeros to get the bullions. That's right. Derp. Silly me. Just an upgrade version of the same pants I already have. Oh! Oh, man, that's funny. Well, I guess I'll be grabbing that because even though I already have that neck, it's a hero track version of that neck rather than champion track. And that is my best neck. So, I got a decent vault here this week on my Demon Hunter. How about that? And it already has a socket, which I can just go ahead and add a couple more sockets to it, so... Alright. Good for me. Well, also, this is Time Walking Wrath of the Lich King week, which means that we'll be able to do the quest to go into Ulduar, take down Yogg-Saron, and have a chance for a hero track piece of gear. Plus, it gives me a shot at getting Mimiron's head. So, let's just say I plan to find people doing skips to Yogg-Saron, so that I can be able to try and continue to have a shot at Mimiron's head. Hopefully I get Mimiron's head this week. Cross my fingers. Anyways, I don't know if this is going to be it for Dragonflight in terms of story content for me to show you guys. It could be. I don't know. By the way, I did find out that apparently you could have actually gotten glimpses of Xalatath's previous wielders, which, by the way, the idea of playing through War Within, considering we're dealing with Xalatath, and playing as a Shadow Priest while you're using Xalatath as a transmog, the dagger, I mean, not the character, is actually pretty cool, because remember, if you transmog Xalatath as your Shadow Priest, you still hear the little whispers and dialogues from Xalatath the dagger. So, just something to think about. The fun idea of playing through War Within as a Shadow Priest with Xalatath the dagger while we're dealing with Xalatath. But anyways, if there's anything more to show you guys, I will do so in Dragonflight. Otherwise, this will probably be the last part. And if so, I will label it as final. And if that ends up being the case, then I will see you guys next time when we get ready to start the War Within. Stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time.